Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled Older Men's Fixation with Younger Women Really Boils My Kidneys. And guys, this article is written by your typical middle-aged woman that's really pissed off that so many guys, if they can, will choose younger women. Okay? And this is nothing new. I've done a video here and there over since I started the channel about this. And what's funny is that it's always the same story. It's always guys that are being made out to be the supervillains for doing this type of thing, if they can. But meanwhile, not once have I ever heard or seen the finger pointed at young women for doing the same thing, because older guys wouldn't be dating and hooking up and having relationships with much younger women if the younger women weren't doing the same thing. But again, it's much easier and convenient to point the finger at us and make us the root of all evil. And we're the ones doing this great injustice that are leaving all these poor, sweet, and innocent middle-aged women for these younger girls. And, I'm going to go through this here now, guys. And as I've said before countless times, I don't want to be a broken record here, but basically, at the end of the day, men are visual creatures. We're attracted to what we see. So naturally, we're attracted to women that are obviously younger, prettier, in better shape, all that. Okay, that's just nature. Okay, don't blame us, blame Mother Nature. Okay, in the same way that, guess what, women are attracted to men that obviously are successful and have resources and are driven, ambitious. And yeah, sure, looks and all that helps out too, but really a big thing is the drive, the ambition, the status, the resources, money, and of course confidence and charm and personality. But let's be honest here, the top things are, we know what they are. So it is what it is. But stop put the blame on us. But it's unbelievable. And by the way, as you go through this article here, you're going to see that she's a little bit of a hypocrite. No surprise there. So let me get into it. It starts off, it's such a regular cliched occurrence that it barely deserves to be remarked on. Nonetheless, it still boils my kidneys. Hardly a week goes by without a middle-aged celebrity being photographed with a new and much younger girlfriend. Last week, it was the turn of 56-year-old Russell Crowe, who was photographed kissing his alleged new girlfriend, Brittany Thierot. And I don't know how some of these names are pronounced. You guys can correct me. I don't know, and I don't care. Brittany Thierot, that's what it looks like through the spelling, age 30. Thierot is closer in age to Crowe's 16-year-old son, Charles. But sure, what of it? Like I say, an everyday and unremarkable occurrence through a celebrity's looking glass. The new couple to join a pantheon of dad-bod middle-aged men, and their Elysium, millennial or Generation Z lovers. There's Leonardo DiCaprio, who's 46, and his girlfriend Camilla Morrone, 23. Dennis Quaid, 66, and his wife Laura Savoy, 27. And Sean Penn and Layla George, 32 years his junior. Who cares? Who cares? These guys are obviously super famous, super wealthy celebrities. They could literally get pretty much any woman they want. Doesn't make a difference how old they are. So they're going to do it. Okay? Just the same way that a young woman, if she was a 10 in the looks and body type department, and she was in her early 20s, her absolute prime, and she could attract billionaires with yachts and private jets and all that, do you think she's going to feel bad about that? No way. So, it is what it is. Earlier this year, Brad Pitt, 56, was said to be dating a 27-year-old model, Nicole Petrosky. Pitt has rarely been without a beauty on his arm for decades, but even so, that has fallen so readily into this time-honored cliche, it seems disappointing. Disappointing, but not surprising. Well, they're not disappointed, and other guys aren't disappointed that do that as well. So stop bitching about it. And for all the women that maybe stumble upon this channel to follow me, here's what you got to do. I'll make it very easy for you. If you haven't done so already, join a gym. Get a personal trainer if you don't know what you're doing. And get your body in good shape. Change your diet. Start eating well, eating healthy. Start dressing better. Start making yourself more feminine and sexy. Changing your bodies. And I promise you, your odds will increase greatly. Does that mean you're going to have it? And this is for like the middle-aged women that complain like her. All you got to do is that. Am I saying you're going to get guys your own age? You may get some. But you know what? You will attract older guys. Okay? Because to them, let's just say you're 40 years old and a woman worked hard to change her body around, looks really good for her age, because you can have good-looking women that are in their 40s. They don't compare to the 20-somethings, but they still look good. Guess what? To some guy in his 50s, you're going to be seen as a prize. There you go. Or you're going to have young guys in their 20s, they'll be hot for hooking up with cougars and MILFs. There you go. You can get some dick that way. So stop complaining, okay? But yes, you're going to have a very hard time getting guys your same age. Let's say you're 40, in their 40s. If they are successful and they're shit together, they're going to go for the younger women. Deal with it. But you still can get guys, but you got to take action. Stop blaming everybody else but yourselves and get off your ass and take action, and you can have something. There, had to be said. It goes on. Her complaining goes on. When Cannon Rees was photographed with his girlfriend Alexandra Grant, who had gray hair and looked her age, 47, he was inundated with congratulations and backclaps, as though he deserved praise for dating a woman his age. The thing is, he's still 9 years older than her. God forbid. In the business where Hollywood is strangely obsessed with youth and where optics are everything, I can understand why a leading man, or indeed woman, would get involved with someone much younger. It telegraphs I'm still young and relevant, which is probably handy when it comes to career longevity. Looks and beauty aside, a younger person brings new energy and refreshed perspective on life to a relationship. And sometimes age doesn't come into the equation. Numbers don't mean anything if two people have similar values and find themselves roughly at the same stage in life. This phenomenon is not restricted to the rare field world of celebrity. In 2018, the Science Advances Journal published a study about an aspiring pursuit of mates within online dating. Research looked at nearly 200,000 heterosexual users and found that while men's sexual desirability peaks at age 50, women hit their prime at 18. Another study undertaken by dating website OkCupid found that the median 30-year-old man spent as much time messaging teenage girls as he does women his own age. Well, these guys that supposedly do this, they better be making sure that they're 18 and up, otherwise their asses are going to jail. It's not worth it, guys. In fact, to be honest with you, I wouldn't deal with any. If you're above the age 30, I wouldn't even bother with anybody under the age of 21. And honestly, they can't go to bars, they can't drink anyway. But you do what you want to do. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't even waste my time with someone under the age of 21. Well, what the hell are you going to talk about? But this is coming from the perspective of a nearly 43-year-old man. But why does this supposed fixation that older men appear to have on young women bother me so much? Is it because as a 40-something woman, ding, 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 it reminds me that in the world of dating, women of my vintage have depreciated in value. That the idea suggests physical appearance still matters more for women than men, and we are thought to diminish in attractiveness more precipitously. Is it because research like this confirms what I've long suspected? Some men, and then she says not all men, find girls more attractive than grown women. Women with possibly more opinions and agency. Yes, men are going to be attracted to young women. That's just how it is. Accept it. Stop being crazy about this. I'm tired of all these articles, women bitching about this, okay? It's how it is. And don't say that women don't get together and they're out and they don't see a bunch of young guys that, let's just say you're at a resort, you're in Hawaii, the Bahamas, wherever the hell it is. You get a bunch of women together. Do you think they're staring at all the older men's bodies at the pool? No, they're looking at the young guys in their 20s. They're in obviously their best shape. Okay, so don't give me that crap. All right. And notice she's 40 years old, middle-aged, and she's complaining. But wait till you see what comes up next to show you that she's a hypocrite. Why am I rolling my eyes at the mere thought of Russell Crowe having to learn the basics of TikTok to get hooked up with younger women? Or for that matter, Brad Pitt saying something like the 90s? Well, you had to be there. For all we know, these pairings could be wondrous, intellectual matches, compatible in ways that numbers can't attest to. But I know from experience that this isn't always the case, and maybe this is why the dynamic leaves a metallic taste in my mouth. At 20, working in a Dublin hotel bar to pay my way through college, I met an American man, then in his mid-30s. He was charmingly boyish and had his own apartment in Los Angeles. He wore aftershave and worked as a record publisher, I could barely spell career. It was a sizable step from the snake-bite guzzling lads I was more used to. Suitably smitten, I moved to Los Angeles after college so we can go make up things. So, this woman writing this article, who's 40 years old and is complaining about guys being attracted to and getting in relationships or marrying younger women, guess what? She was that girl. She was the same girl. She said right here, at 20 years old, she met a dude in his mid-30s, okay? And he had a place in Los Angeles, record producer, status, money, and she went for him. There are plenty of guys in her 20s she could have gone out with. Good guys. No, she went with the older guy. And yet she's here complaining about guys going for younger girls, and she was that younger girl. Call me crazy, but I don't recall anything in this article with her pointing the finger at young women, assigning blame on them. Nope, it's much more convenient to make us the supervillains. Unbelievable. Well, you know what? It's not unbelievable to me. Nothing surprises me at this point in my life. Nothing surprises me about human nature. She continues, well, it was a disaster. With no career or money of my own to speak of, and me living in his apartment, the balance of power was already on a perilously unhealthy tilt. Translation, he called all the shots, and she didn't like that. Sure, we made each other laugh, but I was under no illusion that for him, this was a predominantly sexual relationship. You think? He had a little interest in meeting of minds. He had his buddies for that. Added to which I was hopelessly immature and romantically inexperienced at age 20. I would pick fights with him at parties and crow for attention and affection all day long. We weren't compatible in terms of emotional intelligence, common life goals. When it finally ground to a hilt, I suspect both of us were relieved. No, he got what he wanted. She got what she wanted temporarily, and that was that. No one forced her to get on a plane and go out to Los Angeles and move in with this dude and all that. Okay, nobody did, and I don't want to hear about this immaturity. I mean, yes, it's interesting because, so many women, let's be honest here, when they're little kids up until when they're old ladies, can in many ways behave like children. It's really true. But on the other hand, women can also mature in different ways. I want to emphasize different ways than guys, particularly in the younger years. So you could have a woman that at 20 years old in some way will have more maturity than a typical guy at 20 years old. Again, in some way. So I don't want to hear all this. Stop. Own up to it. Seriously, own up to it. Guess what? She did the same thing. The record producer wasn't a bad guy or even a man undergoing a crisis of masculinity. We were both attracted to each other, so what was the harm in seeing where things went? Exactly. Stop judging. Stop being pissed off because you're 40 years old and obviously not where you want to be romantically in your life. Men choosing to date younger women and their gravitational aesthetic apex is understandable, as is the reverse. What ultimately bothers me is a man who believes that a woman his own age is too old to love. The French novelist Jan Moy intoned last year, the body of a 25-year-old woman is extraordinary. The body of a woman of 50 is not extraordinary at all. I suspect that something other than beauty is at play here. Think of the reflected glory and admiration that an older person might see in a young lover's eyes. I know I thought my ex was a legend, simply because he knew how to order wine and paid a gas bill. That sort of devotion and admiration is probably too good to resist. I'd say having to mansplain O.J. Simpson, Thin Lizzy, or Italia 1990 seems a small enough price to pay. So, there you go, guys. She was that girl. She dated a guy, she was 20 and he was in mid-30s, so let's just say for argument's sake he was 35. Almost. He was 75% older than her in terms of years. That didn't stop her. That didn't stop her from picking up and moving from Ireland, because this is from the Irish Times, all the way to Los Angeles and living with him. And she admitted flat out, yes, she was really attracted to him, and they had fun and laughed and blah, blah, blah. But obviously she mentioned the balance of power. This guy, he had her. And let's be honest here. While I say all the time that women want a guy they can look up to and they have status and all that, they still ultimately want to have the power. Okay, don't get me wrong here. They can admire and respect it, but they're always going to try to get that power in the relationship. But you never give it to them, ever, or it's done. But anyhow, yeah, another article with a woman, middle-aged, complaining, making guys out to be the supervillains. But guess what? She did the same thing. So there you go. Total hypocrite. But anyway, the point is this, guys. If you have the ability, if you're doing well for yourself, you're a single guy and you're doing well for yourself, and you have some status, you got some resources, you take care of yourself in the gym, you live in a nice place on your own, you got a nice car, and you can date younger women, go ahead and do it and have fun. If that's what you want, all right, But don't marry them, but just have a good, and don't move in with them, but just have fun with them. You earned it, okay? And believe me, you're gonna get haters. You're gonna women just like this. They're gonna hate at you. If you show up at like barbecues and parties of your friends that are married, and you show up with one of these younger girls on your arm. Believe me, all the different women there, the wives are probably like 20, 30, 40 pounds overweight and dressed like shit. They're going to be staring daggers at you. And you know what? You're going to love every minute of it. And your buddies are going to be looking at you like you're the freaking man because they're stuck with these pigs. They're married, you don't have the balls to get out of. Meanwhile, you're banging young girls. So good for you. So go for that. So, all right, guys. Thought that was a good article to go over. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.